We got console wars, we got Destiny 2, and we got leaks. Let's talk. What up, viewers? What up? What up? Today is Friday, June 12th, and that means it's time for a quick recap of the week in video games news. So, like I said, the big thing, obviously, that happened this week was the big PlayStation 5 reveal that happened yesterday. This was PlayStation's E3-like event. It's definitely in the E3 window, because that's right about now. And PlayStation 5 has really did a big showcase. It just definitely felt like a E3 showcase that I would have seen. Maybe one with less, less live music and people moving from tent to tent. But yeah, this is what I would expect from an E3 showcase, and they definitely started it off right. They started off with Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales, and I think there was some confusion around that. There was a quote, I think, in an article about this is an expansion upon the game, and so people thought that that meant like that the game was gonna that Spider-Man was gonna get up-resed, and then this was just like an additional content on top of that. And then they had to come out today and say, no, 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 this is a fully fledged game, but it's not a full AAA game, and so I think there's still a lot of confusion. But it sounds like that it's not going to be a $60 game, but it might be like an expansion, like we've seen with Uncharted Lost Legacy and other games like that. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I hope they do kind of like a bundle for PlayStation 5, because I never played the first one, unfortunately. Um, Moving right along, they went into Ratchet. I'm not going to cover everything, but I'm just going to cover a couple of the highlights, maybe every other game or so. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart looks good. I don't know that I played the last Ratchet and Clank. I think I just had extra time on my hands back in the day, and so I ended up playing it. And I enjoyed it, so I might play this one, get another 20 hours of gameplay in. Looks fun, but I'm not like super beholden to the Ratchet and Clank series. Stray was a weird one, came out of left field. It's about a cyberpunk cat. It's just like all the humans are gone, I think, and then there's just a cat roaming around. And you're like this cat messenger. I don't know what actual gameplay is going to be like for that game, but I'm definitely feeling that like cyberpunk games are exploding, and like everything's set in cyberpunk, and maybe this has been going on for a little while now, but just I guess I don't know. I don't know what's causing the whole wave of cyberpunk. We've had games in the past like the Shadowrun games that are very cyberpunk. So I'm surprised that like every other game I hear about now is based in cyberpunk. But maybe that's the cool place to set your game setting to set your game. Kenna Bridge of Spirits, I thought was actually really good. They had a team of guys come on from Ember Labs, I think was the studio behind it. Small studio I haven't heard of before. And they showed off their game. It looked pretty cool. It was about this like young heroine and how she like has these spirits that help her. Yeah, they just kind of help her. They showed off. I don't know if there's actual gameplay, but it was mostly just trailers and stuff. But she uses like these spirits to help do puzzle solving stuff. Kind of felt a little bit Last Guardian-y, but I don't know. It felt like a cool action adventure game. They talked about Ghostwire Tokyo. I don't think we've seen this in like over a year, since 2019's E3, I think was the last time I saw this. They actually showed gameplay this time. It felt kind of Bioshocky to me. I don't know, like the main character is first person, and you have these like powers, and you're trying to kill the embodiment of a schoolgirl uniform, like who doesn't have a head. I don't know. The game was very, very kooky. We got a little bit more Godfall. Godfall's looking cool. It's a quote slasher shooter, or a slasher looter. So Godfall looks like a fun co-op game MMO that you're gonna be able to play with friends on the PlayStation 5. Hitman 3 was the left field surprise for me. I was surprised to see Hitman 3 at this big showcase. I'm not a big fan of the Hitman games, but the third installment could be fun. Indie title that I thought looked really cool was Little Devil Inside. I really like the art style, and it just kind of the whole kind of trailer just kind of showed this like old like owner of this mansion, like this old rich guy, and then it just showed like his butler, kind of like his Jeeves, just like out doing things, and like he comes back and then just like shows him the head of this wildebeest that he's killed, and the rich old dude just like tosses it aside, and then like he goes about his business. I don't know what the actual game is going to be like, but I like the art style and it looked kind of fun. The Demon Souls remake, remaster, however you want to call it. The rumors are finally true. Demon Souls is gonna come to the PlayStation 5 as a. I don't remember if it was a remake or a remaster. But you know, I feel like the Demon Souls rumor has been alive in the video game industry for quite some time, and so it's finally come true. The Resident Evil 8, Resident Evil Village. Look, I was just like so engrossed with like what everything looked like. It was like dark and dreary, but it was in the snowy hills, and it was very creepy. And I was like, oh man, I'm getting some weird vibes from this game. And then all of a sudden, I see a face of like this girl that I recognize from like the Resident Evil games, and I was like, oh my god. And then all of a sudden, like Chris Redfield's there, and you're like, no. I don't know. It was just like a slow dawning of like, oh, this is a Resident Evil game. I thought it was really cool. I'm really excited for the Resident Evil games. I've been all in since 7, even though I played 4 and 6. I think 7 just kind of like really sold me on it. Yeah, I'm all in. I want Resident Evil 8, and if their collector's edition comes with a thumb drive, I'm all about that as well. Lastly, they kind of hit it. They've knocked it out of the park with Horizon Forbidden Wilds. I don't think there was a date attached to this, but it's been it's been over 3 years since Horizon Zero Dawn came out. I think a lot of people are really excited for Horizon Forbidden Wilds, Horizon 2. I think people are gonna eat that up, and yeah, I think that they really showed all the games. They had really strong IPs, really good sequels. Nothing that kind of like we haven't seen before. I know for Horizon, people have kind of been rumoring and speculating for it for a while now, especially with the new console generation. So I don't think that was quite as a surprise. I don't know if they had any one big surprise title that people could really latch onto. But Spider-Man, I think people are really excited for whatever comes out for that. And then actually, lastly, they showed the console. They showed this. I was trying to do the calculations. I actually pulled out a controller, like a PlayStation controller. I like scaled it up a little bit based on how I think the new PlayStation 5 controller is going to be. And so I was like, oh, it's like 3 or 4 of the controllers tall, which means it's like 16 inches tall. Like it was, I don't know, it was crazy. I was just like, what is going on? This thing's all tall. It's got the waves on it. My first reaction to this console was like, ew, like so gross. The waves. I thought it was a bold choice. I'm surprised, when you compare it to the Xbox. When you compare it to the Xbox, the Xbox is just like a tower, like a brick that you just kind of put in the room, but at least you can turn it on its side, and I think a lot of people had those same thoughts. And then the next thing you see is a picture of it on its side, still sitting on this like little black stand. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how this thing sits in a room. I think a lot of people on the internet are memeing on it for how does it fit in a room. It looks like a router, and they're definitely all in on this future of gaming, marketing line. The white color is kind of cool. Like I said, I think it's a bold choice, but I kind of want a little bit more flatness, I guess. Like even the PlayStation 4, like at least it's flat. It's got its curves. It's a quadrilateral kind of shape. But oh man, this one was it's just a little bit too much. I would have even got like the dev kits are even shaped like a V, and so people were like speculating on like, oh, is this what it's gonna look like? I was against it. I'm still kind of against it, but eventually it's gonna come down to the games and the software, and people are gonna buy it. I don't think there wasn't any talk about price. I don't think the speculation of like there was a leak on a UK site that was like £600, which is like $900 or something like that. And I definitely don't think that's right. Everyone's kind of speculating around somewhere around the $400 to $500 range. You have a discless version, which if that cuts $50 off, physical is gonna already declining. If people are all in for the no disc tray PlayStation because they can save $50, I think physical is gonna go down even more. But yeah, those are all my thoughts on PlayStation 5. Let me know what you think about it, what you think if you think it looks good, what games that I didn't cover are you into. Yeah, those all looked those are all my thoughts on the PlayStation 5. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Another stream happened this week, in the far off, distant past of Tuesday, Bungie did their live stream after their in-game event last Saturday. Where they had the Warmind shooting at the Almighty. Now that they talked about that in the stream, and now that they got the confidence to execute an in-game event, there's a lot of things they can do to make things kind of feel live. The next, they outlined 3 more years of Destiny 2. I was one of the people who was really hoping for a Destiny 3 this year. I really think that they should kind of, if they want to separate themselves from all of the controversy with them and Bungie breaking up, then I definitely think it would be good to just wipe the slate clean and start over. Do things right, do things the way they want. But I guess they want to have 6 seasons and a movie. That's what they're going for. So they've outlined the next 3 years of content. This year is going to be Beyond Light, where I guess you can play. You're going to be able to play the darkness. I guess, Guardians are all based on having this light power, and now they're going to have darkness powers, and I wonder how that's going to divide up the player base. That sounds really cool. Then they talked about 2021, The Witch's Queen, which if you're deep into the Destiny lore, you've kind of heard about the female. There's a triad of not Forsaken. Oh god, there's a triad of the hybrid, the leaders of the Hive is a triad, and so they've been talking about the sister to Oryx and Crota and all that kind of stuff. They've been talking about her, so we got the Witch Queen coming out, going into deep Destiny lore here. This is what you watch this for, right? And then 2022 they're gonna have Lightfall. If you remember from oh god, Destiny 2, the base campaign, when you finally beat the base campaign of Destiny 2, there's a light wave that goes out, and you see these shadowy, pyramid-based group, and I think that's what they're getting to for Lightfall. But yeah, I'm definitely in the, wipe the slates and start over. I know that a lot of people put a lot of time into Destiny 2 and maybe a lot of money. Especially with their Engram microtransactions and silver and all that kind of stuff. So I could see why wiping the slate clean might not be the best approach. But I definitely think, I've fallen off. I'm not going to get back on until there's a next game, I think. So, yeah. Now, they'll probably sell me eventually at some point. I'll pay $60 to get in September of one of the next 3 years. And I'll be able to play all the previous content. Yeah. Moving right along. I spent a lot of time on 2 topics, so I gotta move through these next ones pretty quick. EA Star Wars had a leak on the Xbox website. They actually had to come out and confirm that the leak was real. Star Wars Squadron will be coming out. It was leaked on the Xbox site. And it could be a cool kind of Rogue Squadron type game. I think people are going to be really excited for this game. I didn't play any of the old Rogue Squadron games, but I definitely think that people are going to want to play those type of games. I think EA kind of said that there's something this won't be a big fully fledged game either. There's more I don't remember if it was it wasn't quite indie. I mean, obviously it's not indie, but it was going to be a smaller game as well. Maybe not a AAA title. But we're going to find out more next week at EA Play, where EA will talk about their E3 plans that are going to happen. Continuing the leak story, Gods and Monsters was available for 30 minutes on Stadia. Ubisoft's next, not quite Assassin's Creed game, where you play as a character in an open world survival kind of adventure game. It was definitely an alpha build. It definitely wasn't like playable at this point, but you could go in and play it on Stadia. If you got it in that 30-minute window. And so there was a couple screen grabs I saw where it was just like the main character plus like white brick kind of gray box kind of stuff. So Gods and Monsters also leaked, and we'll probably learn more about that at Ubisoft's E3 like event that's happening in July. I forget the name of it was. E3 or no, Ubisoft Next, I think was the name of it. I don't remember. Speaking of Resident Evil, the entire franchise has hit a new sales benchmark. They have sold 100 million units. Just 2 weeks ago, we were talking about Witcher 3 and their 50 million units sold across their franchise. Resident Evil has now hit 100 million across their 7 titles, and I was doing all the math of like 7 core games plus the episodic plus 2 remasters or remakes. Plus, I think there's the asymmetrical horror game. There's like the Telltale-like game, the episodic that I was talking about. So they've hit quite a series of titles, and so I'm really happy that they've hit their 100 million. That's a really big milestone. Little Hope, the Dark Pictures anthology coming from the next step in the Dark Pictures anthology, coming from Supermassive Games, the people behind Until Dawn. The next iteration has been delayed. The Man of Medan was released last year around Halloween time, and so this next anthology was supposed to come out. The next game in the anthology was supposed to come out in summer, and now has been pushed to quote autumn. I think I had this in like May-June time frame, and now I'm assuming it's going to be like August-September time frame, which I'm totally happy for because I don't want to play this game until October, till like September-October time frame anyway. So releasing it in June really wouldn't have done anything for me. So I'm kind of glad that it's delayed, and delays sometimes mean that we get a better product, so sometimes delays are good for the customer. The best deal in gaming, 1,500 games from itch.io. This is still live. It is totally raised. This is a charity helping like the Black Lives Matter movement. It's raised $5 million so far, which is a lot more than a lot of these big game companies are contributing themselves. So really make a big step. The money goes towards the NAACP Legal Defense and Education Fund for helping with bail and helping pay lawyer fees and all that kind of stuff for people who are getting arrested for being in these protests. I hope people please continue to support this movement and don't stop fighting until we see real change. Give your money here, give your time, give your effort. This is an important cause, and to continue to talk about it and continue to support it because it needs help, and we don't want things like this to happen again. So continue to support the movement. Horizon Zero Dawn. Speaking of Horizon Zero Dawn, we talked a little bit about the sequel. It's coming out to the PlayStation 5. I'm suspecting Q1 next year. The complete edition of Horizon Zero Dawn with all the DLC is down to $10 this weekend. So if you want to buy and get into Horizon Zero Dawn like me, I haven't played Horizon Zero Dawn. You can get it for $10 this weekend. So you should probably pick that up. We spoke a little bit about this game previously. It's called Windbound, and then I saw a pretty cool like 2-3 minute trailer of the game. Showed a little bit more gameplay. It definitely is like a survival game, kind of like Rust or Minecraft, where you're kind of building up resources, or Conan, any of these types of games. It definitely has a Moana kind of feel because you're like moving from island to island, and then it definitely intentionally, I believe, has a Breath of the Wild feel because like character's even wearing like a blue tunic, and she's like got a flying kite. So it definitely has that Breath of the Wild feel. Survival. I think the game looks really cool. I saw a trailer for it today, and you can see it too down below in the link. Last but certainly not least, I think we've talked about the Samurai Jack game as well in the past. but I saw a cool, I think I saw more gameplay this time, about a 10-minute talk as part of IGN's Summer Game Fest kind of support, or Summer of Gaming, I think is what the IGN thing is called. They showed off the Samurai Jack game, and they said they were during the interview they talked about like they're paying homage to the PlayStation 2 game, but they still wanted to like bring it to the current gen consoles, and so and still wanted to make it feel new and fresh. And so the game I think looks really cool. It's got its own like unique art style. I really like the art style, and the combat looks fun. So I'm really looking forward to the Samurai Jack video game that's coming out. Name of the game, Samurai Jack Beyond Time or something like that. Something with time. Yeah. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching. This is a long one. I'm talking about all of my thoughts and opinions on the PlayStation 5. I still think it looks a little ugly, but yeah. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this content. If you do, follow, like, and subscribe to me on YouTube and Twitch so you can see more great content like this. Link is down in the description below. Thanks again. I hope you have a super day. I hope you have a super weekend. And I hope you have a super day. Bye!